about is greed.
This is about governments and corporations grinding the workers to the bone.
It's about the Auckland dock workers who were terminated because they were in the union, so they were replaced by scabs.
It's about workers being disenfranchised of their rightful work.
The big end of town standing over our brothers and sisters.
I think it's appalling. I mean, you know, we're the people that are doing the work and keeping the country moving with the imports and exports, which is very important to the well-being of the country in general, are getting treated terribly, and you know, I think it's disgusting that a country would treat its people like that, you know.
Well, what started out as a normal renegotiations of the New Zealand MUNZ's enterprise agreement, or contract agreement as they call it in New Zealand, the Port Corp came back, which is the owner of the port and the major stevedoring company, and indicated that they want massive job changes and changes to their terms and conditions to deliver the port a 12% return on assets as opposed to 6%. The terms and conditions that the employer, Port of Auckland, wanted to impose on the workforce were unacceptable to anybody. What started as a normal enterprise bargaining process ended up in a massive anti-union, de-unionising campaign by the Port Corp in Auckland.
James is one of those comrades who are down on the picket line in New Zealand. Give him a welcome. What we've got down there is over 300 mums and dads, families that have been thrown on the job heap by a brutal Port Corp who wants to double their profits in the port from 6% to 12%. Any financial institution will tell you that that is unreasonable. So what they're endeavouring to do is to transfer workers' wages and conditions that have been hard won over many, many years and give them to the shareholders, give them to the bosses, not the workers. And that's a shame on the Port of Auckland. It is owned by the Greater Council of Auckland. In other words, by the community, by the citizens of Auckland. They have a right, a damn good right, to be able to sack that council, sack the Port Corporation and put in place union contracts.
The Port of Auckland Authority is in public hands. They can step in and say enough is enough, both on the basis of justice for the workers, an efficiently running economy, and the name of the New Zealand country itself. Because we know, in general, like ourselves, New Zealand is a country with a fair go. But these dock workers are not getting a fair go.
It means that these poor comrades in New Zealand are asking for food stamps because they haven't got money to purchase groceries. That's what being locked out means. It's not something that workers want. It's something that workers must do in order to protect their jobs. They're criminalising mateship. Some of the best principles that supposedly make up Australia and New Zealand. Mateship. Standing by your mate. Being there alongside him when he's in trouble. We can't do that apparently because governments legislate that it's wrong, that it's criminal.
I just returned from Auckland, where there was a big rally held there last week, and we had something like 30 MUA men and women from around Australia that went over to stand shoulder to shoulder with those New Zealand workers and their families. What I saw is a desperate bunch of people who have been thrown out of their workplace, who have got no financial support whatsoever, and who are relying on the solidarity of their own trade union movement in New Zealand and the global trade union movement, which the ITF and the Maritime Union of Australia and unions in Australia and the globe are rallying behind MUNZ and their families in this desperate dispute.
Right now, we urgently need to have a strong community assembly here at Port Botany because a ship has arrived with cargo from New Zealand that's been loaded by non-union labour. Because right now in New Zealand, the wharfies have been given a really hard time. They've been made redundant, forced to reapply for their jobs. There's a lot of non-union labour being employed, and it's all about forcing down conditions. The Greens certainly will take this message into the federal parliament and the state parliament and continue to work with you and our New Zealand colleagues to ensure that these scab operations are finished, that we get the union back on the job, and that we ensure that decent working conditions are put back in place and improved.
If they want to push our buttons, we'll push them back. We'll push them back. We have a democratic say and then we follow it through. The democracy of this union, to those in the community, is this, that we respect this community action, we respect this community picket line, and we'll stay out here with you protesting this gross injustice. Solidarity forever, comrades!
The outcome we're looking for is we want the Maersk Brani to leave Port Botany and go back to Auckland. And then we want it unloaded and loaded again by MUNZ people. It was their job in the first place. It was their job till 4 days ago. And now the Ports of Auckland people want to get scab labour in there to do this. It's not on.
Everybody in this industry wants cargoes to move. Everybody wants ships to come and go, but we have a right to be represented by a trade union. Ports of Auckland doesn't agree with that and should reconsider their position.
Well, when you hear Tack's story and his partner Haley's story, it just brings to bear the nature of the attacks against these people. Poor Tack and his partner Haley get the news via the TV that they're now out of work. That's unacceptable and it's a disgrace.
We're all proud men. You know, we don't like to sort of take charity, but in this case, you know, we're lining up getting these food coupons. You know, we're having to sit there and sign for a couple of $100, you know, bring your bills in, we'll pay your electric power bill, pay your water bill. And we're so grateful for MUA, ILWU, with all their support, international support that you guys provide us, and it's just so awesome. And to see all the delegation from all over the world to come over and give us a helping hand. You know,
in any dispute like this, there are a number of key requirements that workers need. First is hope. And hope comes through solidarity and support by their brethren, by their fellow citizens, and by the international community at large. And we've been sending strong messages of support.
What brought me here is it's an attack on workers, attack on New Zealand workers. Our convictions, our beliefs don't have national boundaries. If there's attacks on the Auckland dockers, then it's an attack on the family. So we're here as a matter of community solidarity, working class solidarity.
We support you 1,000%, and we're not going to stand by and let them attack you guys when we're here to back you up.
You got our 100% support from the MUA in Sydney.
Workers from a whole raft of unions in New South Wales came and hit the streets in support of those sacked workers in Auckland. In America, the ILWU are holding campaigns out in front of embassies of the New Zealand government up and down the west coast of the United States. In Aqaba, in Jordan, the ITF Global Terminals Network met and determined to pledge their full support for a global campaign around shipping companies that use the Port of Auckland and use non-union scab labour in that port. There's massive support growing globally for the MUNZ members and their families.
Together we bargain, divided we pay. The only thing that's keeping us free, solidarity. Solidarity. To them we were caught in a corporate wheel. They got a number, they don't care how we feel. Business is business, and a deal is a deal. The only thing that's keeping us free, solidarity. Solidarity. It's a matter of trust and a matter of pride. Brothers and sisters working side by side.